President Lee Jae-myung attended the launch ceremony of an AI data center in Ulsan City on Friday, voicing hope and confidence that South Korean firms will lead the world of artificial intelligence. South Korea's benchmark Kosby topped the 3,000 mark for the first time in nearly 3.5 years on Friday, driven by gains in big-cap tech sectors. It's officially monsoon season here in the country, with some parts of the greater capital area expected to see up to 120 millimeters in downpours until Saturday. President Lee Jae-myung once again pledged full support for the AI industry to realize the goal of South Korea becoming the world's top AI powerhouse. Our top office correspondent Yoon Jung-min leads us tonight.
A day after returning home from his trip to the G7 summit in Canada, President Lee Jae-myung chose the country's southeastern industrial city of Ulsan for a visit, where a ceremony took place on Friday to celebrate the launch of a mega AI data center as the country faces daunting economic challenges.
대한민국이 지금까지는 고속 성장을 해왔는데 지금 일종의 어쩌면 시중말로 깔딱고개를 넘는 국면인 것 같기도 합니다. 지금 우리가 다시 준비하기에 따라서 완전히 새로운 세상으로 나아갈 수도 있고 또 자칫 잘못하면 다시 되돌아 내려갈 수도 있는 그런 상황인데.
Making Korea one of the world's AI powerhouses was among Lee's pledges during his presidential campaign. Accompanying the president were the CEOs of major companies, including SK Chairman Choi Tae-won and Kakao CEO Chung Shin-ah, as the business leaders pitched their ideas.
I hope the government expands the AI one-stop vouchers so that startup businesses can easily use AI infrastructure at a lower cost. In tandem with the government's creation of a national AI fund, I hope we can nurture as many as 20,000 AI startups over the course of the next 5 years.
Choi also asked for an AI government, meaning more AI applications and services used by the public sector. Dubbed the AI Highway, the 100-megawatt AI data center in Ulsan is a joint project between SK Group and Amazon Web Services, worth over $5 billion in investment to meet increasing AI demand at home. There are plans to expand to 1 gigawatt later down the line.
과감한 세제 혜택, 규제 혁신을 통해서 민간의 투자를 촉진하고 대한민국 AI 대전환의 성공을 이끌 AI 시대의 고속도로를 구축하겠습니다.
He went on to ensure that every person in the country can harness the benefits of AI in their daily lives. The president did not forget to put particular emphasis on his in-person visit to the region, as he says Korea's cutting-edge technology can prosper also in areas outside the capital region. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
Also on Friday, South Korea's benchmark Kospi extended to its winning streak to a fifth day, breaking the 3,000-point mark, driven by the upward trend of increased liquidity in the global financial markets. Our correspondent Park Jun-han reports.
South Korea's benchmark Kospi surpassed the 3,000 points mark on Friday for the first time since December 2021. Closing at 3,021.84, the index jumped 1.48% from Thursday's market close. The last time the Kospi closed above the 3,000 mark was on December 28, 2021, when it ended the day at 3,020.24 points. The Kospi recorded its highest ever close on July 6, 2021, when it climbed past the 3,300 level. However, since December 28th of that year, the index has failed to close above 3,000, instead fluctuating anywhere between 2,155 points to 2,989. Korean stocks have risen over 30% since April's early low. Domestically, investor sentiment has improved following the resolution of uncertainties stemming from last December's martial law declaration, which had previously weakened market confidence.
South Korea's shipbuilding and defense stocks rose amid policies associated with the Trump administration. More recently, since the launch of the Lee Jae-myung administration, the market has seen selective gains in AI and securities firms-driven stocks, particularly those benefiting from shareholder return policies.
With the Lee Jae-myung administration now in office, its stock market-friendly policies are fueling momentum to revitalize the market. President Lee, while visiting the southeastern industrial city of Ulsan on Friday morning, commented on South Korea's recent stock market gains.
오늘 대한민국 주가가 2,992.1을 찍고 있던데 새로운 기대로 오늘을 기해서 3,000포인트를 넘어서서 새로운 3,000 시대로 나아가면 좋겠습니다.
Globally, although negotiations are still underway, a 90-day suspension of U.S. reciprocal tariffs and the de-escalation of U.S.-China trade tensions following high-level talks boosted the rise of Korean stocks. Yet, since the market's index growth was driven by expectations, further momentum beyond the 3,000 mark may require solid corporate earnings and clear signs of an economic recovery.
I believe stock market-friendly policies should be implemented more swiftly. Investments in areas like AI also need to proceed smoothly to support the growth of related domestic industries. In addition, improvements in external conditions must be backed by a strong export performance and a broader economic recovery at home.
After the Kospi surged past 3,000 for the first time in years, investors are asking, is this a true rebound or a brief surge? Park Jun-han, Arirang News.
Now, the monsoon season has officially begun across South Korea, with some areas even seeing rainfall levels of over 30 millimeters per hour. Now, no casualties have been reported, despite some reports of damage. Our Park Kwon-woo has the details.
Monsoon seasons arrived several days earlier than last year, as heavy rain and strong winds swept across the country on Friday. Downpours of over 30 millimeters per hour lashed the greater capital area in Gangwon province and are forecast to continue overnight due to a stationary front. With that front heading south, heavy rain steadily expanded into the central and southern regions throughout the evening. This has led to numerous damage reports nationwide, including flooded areas and fallen trees. But with the shifting climate, Korea's monsoon season has become harder to predict, as shown by some changing patterns.
Monsoon rains used to fall steadily over time, but in recent years, short bursts of heavy rain followed by heat have become more common.
And with heavy rain continuing overnight, the agency has placed extra emphasis on safety.
It's important to stay alert and pay attention to overnight weather updates, a time when responses tend to be lacking. Checking drain gutters beforehand will be needed. Emergency alerts may be issued during the night, so please stay alert.
The Interior Ministry also activated Level 1 of the Central Disaster and Safety Countermeasures Headquarters as of 2:30 p.m. Accordingly, the headquarters has stepped up monitoring of vulnerable areas and urged swift access control when there's any sign of danger. According to the weather agency's forecast, heavy rain is expected to continue over the weekend, with some areas in the southern region seeing up to 180 millimeters of rain. The agency also said the stationary front is predicted to become more active and move northward from the 27th, potentially affecting the entire country. Park Kwon-woo, Arirang News.
Now in its 8th day, the conflict between Israel and Iran is escalating. Israel bombed Iran's nuclear reactor that is under construction, while Iran launched missiles armed with cluster munitions. Our Park Hyo-bin has more.
Multiple explosions rocked Iran's Arak heavy water reactor on Thursday local time following Israeli airstrikes.
Over the past 24 hours, the Air Force aircraft hit targets of the nuclear weapons program. They hit the nuclear reactor in the Arak area. We are talking about a reactor that is not active, but has the potential to produce enriched plutonium that is used to create the core of a nuclear weapon.
The International Atomic Energy Agency warned of the potential for radioactive materials to spread into the atmosphere, although no radiation leak has been detected so far. The escalation has gone beyond the Arak strike. On the same day, Israel initially claimed strikes on Iran's Natanz and Bushehr nuclear sites, but later called the Bushehr reference a mistake. Still, the military has neither confirmed nor denied an attack there, leaving the door open for future strikes. Meanwhile, Iran launched a ballistic missile armed with a cluster bomb warhead, a weapon banned by many nations for its indiscriminate effects and high civilian risk, as it scatters dozens or even hundreds of smaller bombs. At least 639 people have been killed in Iran this week by Israeli strikes, according to the Associated Press. Israeli officials say 24 of their citizens have been killed in the conflict so far. With tensions rising, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Thursday local time that he would allow 2 more weeks for diplomacy before deciding whether to authorize a military strike on Iran.
I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks."
For now, diplomacy is racing against time as tensions between Israel and Iran continue to mount. Park Hyubin, Arirang News.
And more South Korean nationals were safely moved out of both Israel and Iran on Thursday. The South Korean government is doing all it can to ensure the safety of Korean people in the Middle East. Oh Soo-young has more.
Over 60 South Korean nationals have been safely evacuated from Iran and Israel to surrounding countries, as Seoul authorities urge those staying behind to swiftly leave the conflict-ridden areas. Seoul's foreign ministry said Friday that a total of 37 Korean citizens and their family members in Iran have crossed over to Turkmenistan. The first group of 18 Koreans and 2 family members departed Tehran on Tuesday, traveling for around 30 hours over some 1,200 kilometers to Iran's eastern border with Turkmenistan on a bus provided by the Korean government. They entered Turkmenistan on Wednesday, and the second group of 10 arrived the next day, followed by 4 more individuals. On Friday, 2 Koreans and 1 family member crossed the border safely. Meanwhile, 25 Korean citizens and 1 Israeli family member were evacuated by bus from Israel to Jordan on Thursday. Embassies in Iran and Israel have provided chartered buses for nationals wishing to evacuate, while rapid response teams dispatched from Seoul's foreign ministry arrived in Turkmenistan and Jordan to assist with customs clearance and flight scheduling. Roughly 460 South Korean nationals remain in Israel and about 90 in Iran. The government stated it stands ready to provide additional consular support and evacuation assistance upon request. Its travel advisories for Iran and Israel are both at level 3, which recommends Korean nationals to leave the country in question. There have been no Korean casualties so far amid the rapid escalation of the conflict. The Foreign Ministry has said it will continue to monitor the situation and maintain close communication with overseas missions to ensure the safety of Korean people. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
It's Friday, which means it's time for arts and culture. We have our culture correspondent, Choi Soo-hyung, here in the studio. Welcome back, Soo-hyung.
Thanks for having me.
So what do you have for us tonight?
Yes, just before we start, let me just ask you something.
Sure.
Do you usually read a lot?
Well, I do love books, and I try to read as much as I can, I have to say.
Yeah, just me too. And today, I want to share some story for anyone who loves books, who wants to love books, or is just interested in them. I went to the Seoul International Book Fair. Let me tell you, it was really crowded with excited visitors. Just visiting the book fair felt like being part of a cultural trend, and it was a chance to see how Korean literature is valued around the world. Here's the full story. The rich, nostalgic scent of ink and paper fills the venue. Crowds have flooded the hall, reading, touching and experiencing books up close. The 2025 Seoul International Book Fair opened on Wednesday, June 18th, and tickets were all sold out even before the event started.
I come every year out of habit, but it really feels like there are more people each year. It's just so nice to see that so many people in Korea truly love books.
Under this year's theme, The Last Resort, the fair has invited visitors to find their own peaceful last resort in books. Beyond books, book-related goods, merchandise, and open-to-all book talks and author lectures are major crowd pullers, especially attracting young people eager to enjoy book culture.
Although the publishing industry faces challenges, I keep seeing that many people still love books themselves. There's a reason why a book needs to be a book, even with so much digital content out there. We put effort into creating books that people want to buy, own, and read by finding designs that best complement the text.
We wanted to show how book culture extends beyond paper into many content formats, like merchandise. And a new generation is rediscovering the power of books and freely expressing their identity through them. Our goal is to create a space where everyone can enjoy and celebrate that culture.
International interest in discovering Korean authors and literary content is heating up as well. Korean literature is in the global spotlight thanks to novelist Han Gang's winning the Nobel Prize in Literature. That buzz is fueling a record turnout at this year's Seoul International Book Fair, with around 150,000 visitors expected by this weekend. Over 530 publishers from 17 countries, including Taiwan, France, Germany, and Thailand, are taking part in the event. A German publisher participating in the fair for more than 20 years says Korean literature stands out for its modern blend of history and pop culture.
But then we had a new trend worldwide with young adult, fantasy, romance, and Korea is very strong in that. Korea is very strong in contemporary, strong fantasy, which goes back into history, but also using elements of all art of popular culture. The integration of popular culture into literature, I think it's a phenomenon from Korea.
The Seoul International Book Fair runs until Sunday, June 22nd.
What an exciting venue, Soo-hyung, but we often hear how struggling the print publishing industry is. What do you think is driving such huge interest in a book fair like this one?
Yeah, an independent publisher earlier we met said we are now seeing a shift back from digital books to analog reading habits, and people just realize that turning pages and even filling paper
it does feel good.
Yeah, and even connecting the content with content physically is something that digital books cannot replace. So she also mentioned books offer an emotional connection, and that may be what's driving the growing enthusiasm around the book fair. The Publishers Association also said reading is now seen as a proud part of personal identity, a shift from the past. The fair was designed to help people enjoy that pride. They said that with this reading culture change, financial support for producing a high-quality book would help the industry.
Now, I do have to ask, has the perception of Korean literature changed in any way since Han Gang won the Nobel Prize?
Yeah, that's right. Things have absolutely changed. Just books used to be somewhat overlooked compared to films or cartoons, but Korean publishing has quietly developed to a world-class level. And Han Gang's Nobel Prize win became a turning point, helping the world rediscover the strength and global competitiveness of Korean literature with great authors and high-quality works. An official I met at the French booth said her win sparked even greater interest not only in Korean books, but in Korean culture as well.
In France, poetry books don't sell well, so publishers rarely release them. However, they chose to translate and publish Han Gang's very first poetry collection into French, a bold and groundbreaking move.
France, famous for many Nobel winners holding a key place in global literature, is now making more efforts to discover other talented Korean authors thanks to Han Gang.
Well, for anyone interested, we have the entire weekend to enjoy the book fair. Thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Now, staying on the culture front, Korean culture is taking center stage yet again. A one-stop experience of all things Hallyu, the first ever MyK Festa has kicked off. Our Pyongyang was there.
Korean culture isn't just about K-pop. Just as K-pop isn't only about singing and dancing. It's about storytelling, identity, and connection. Hallyu, or the Korean wave, has turned Korea's pop culture into a global bridge, uniting fans, industries, and ideas across borders. That is what the 2025 MyK Festa represents.
The Korean wave is having a strong impact on the world, but we shouldn't stop here. We felt the need to find ways to connect it with other industries, like tourism and resource diplomacy. If we can grow together with our industries, I believe MyK could become a key asset for Korea's future.
Where I'm standing right now is K Street, a sprawling exhibition and experience zone showcasing over 100 Korean companies. From webtoons and food to lifestyle brands, attendees can get a hands-on feel for K content and also everyday Korean culture, and do a little shopping along the way.
On K Street, there's something for everyone.
I think what I like the most is very diverse. I can see K-beauty booth, I can see K-fashion, K-pop, K-food. They also have like color analysis, so I really like going around and like seeing everything that Korea has to offer.
And I just attended with my friends so I could see all the different booths and kind of see what the sellers are offering. Yeah.
At the food zone, visitors can try food from popular brands that were carefully selected to reflect Korean food trends and appeal to foreigners as well.
K street food, like all the food trucks, it was so good. Like especially the tteokbokki. Like I love Korean food, so tteokbokki stood out like the most for me.
An expert consultation event is also taking place, connecting Korean companies with foreign buyers, a move to open tangible new markets and build global networks.
I'm looking for some brandings and or looking at some products, anything, any business that is like matching together, and then it's a good thing for me also that I can look to Korea, local products, and also the entertainment as well. That is one thing that I feel like Korea is number one in Asia.
The first day also included a panel session to discuss music networking in Asia and signed off with a K-pop concert headlined by K-pop group aespa. In the days to come, a global conference will bring together cultural industry leaders to discuss the future of Hallyu, alongside performances and a major closing concert, drawing the curtain on a festival that celebrates not just Korean content, but Korea's place on the world stage. Pyongyang, Arirang News.
Central regions in Jeollabuk-do province have been seeing disruptive monsoon rains from early this morning, with heavy rain alerts remaining in place for the capital area and parts of Gangwon-do province. Well, it's a rainy and windy day for the capital region, with strong wind advisory being issued, as well as along the west coast and parts of Jeju Island. The rain will let up in central areas tomorrow, but southern provinces will see downpours dropping 20 to 50 millimeters per hour. Chungcheong-namdo and Jeollabuk-do could see up to 180 millimeters of downpours. Well, despite the drop in temperatures, it felt muggy all day today. It's not going to be much different tomorrow, starting off slightly lower than this morning in most parts. Then daytime highs in the capital will rise a bit to 28 degrees on Saturday. Busan seeing a high of 24 degrees. Monsoon rain in the southern provinces and Jeju Jeju Island will continue through early next week, so please stay safe out there. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the international weather conditions.
That is all we have for tonight. I'm Kim Dami. For all of us here at Arirang, thanks for watching and good night.